What's going on, everybody? Today is August 14th of 2020. In this video, we're going to talk about a news story today in which a Colombian reggae musician, J Balvin, says that he's recovering from coronavirus. And of course, it's not enough just to report the news about the virus, but this man wants everyone to make sure that they think it's real and it's dangerous. And remember, the math speaks for itself. Those of us who are, or not us, I have not been diagnosed, but those who have been diagnosed, there's barely a fraction of a % chance of dying, especially if you're this man's age, who should be in seemingly good health. Not a lot of details about this man's illness, just that he wants everyone to be afraid of it. Now, as I've been exposing for months now, every time we get a story about a celebrity being diagnosed with coronavirus, the news talks about it by this code of letters and numbers. So we'll talk about the numeric riddle in this story, as well as the astrological riddle that they've given us. So we start with today's primary date numerology of 62, 8 plus 14 plus 20 plus 20. Today's date also with a life lesson number of 26. Using the standard 26-letter alphabetic order, English ordinal, the word disease sums to 62, and in reduction, or Pythagorean gematria, it sums to 26. 26 also the value of both virus and COVID. I'll pull up J Balvin's Wikipedia page here in a second. But what I want you to notice is that in the standard alphabetic order, the name J Balvin sums to 70. And this is a significant number that we've seen coded around the coronavirus ever since it came to be. Balvin is from Colombia, which also sums to 70. In the reverse method, coronavirus sums to 70. And remember, just a couple of days ago, we got a news story about the death of Kamala James Harris, just 2 days before Kamala Harris was announced as Joe Biden's vice president. And James Kamala Harris died at the age of 70. Of course, his death was 73 days after his birthday and 73 days before Kamala Harris's. The name Harris equals 73. And of course, the media gave us this image of Kamala wearing a Kamala for President 2020 shirt just to mock everybody who doesn't see that their politics are bullshit. A couple other things that are interesting about the name J Balvin. Using the alphabetic order with square numbers, one of the ancient base 10 Hebrew ciphers, J Balvin sums to 1010. And 1010 is the Jewish gematria of COVID-19. Remember, Revelation summing to 1010. And in English gematria, last week I did a video about the dog Buddy, who is said to have died of coronavirus. The dog's name, Buddy, sums to 1010 also. Next, I want to explain how this story is related to the events of September 11th. And of course, this whole COVID agenda is essentially the new generation's 9/11. One analogy I heard that I liked is that COVID-19 is sort of 9/11 in slow motion. And of course, we are 19 years after 9/11. Notice how the name J Balvin sums to 119 in the reverse alphabetic order. This lining up with reggae. Of course, this guy a popular reggae singer. Now, the date September 11th is written internationally as 11/9. And there's this really interesting alignment when you type in September the 11th. You get these values of 227, and 1433. And 1433 is the 227th prime number. These are the same values we get when we type in eclipse crucifixion code. And of course, this story related to the 2 total solar eclipses that create an X over the United States. Oops, let me find the right image here. These 2 eclipses are essentially the entire reason the virus is named coronavirus. Recall, the corona of the sun is the only part of it that's visible during a total solar eclipse. And 2020 represents the midway point between these 2 total solar eclipses that create an X over the United States. Now, if we measure from September 11th, 2001, and those attacks to the date of this news story, we find it's just a little bit over 227 months. Furthermore, today, August 14th, is the 227th day of a leap year. 227, very significant. The Scottish Rite of Freemasonry with 227 Gematria. Remember, it's 22 divided by 7, which is the smallest equation on a calculator to give us the first 3 digits of pi. This also works in the language of Gematria, summing to 314, this same phrase. Now, September 11th, that's the 254th day on the calendar. And this man's full name, when you punch it into the calculator, sums to 254, showing his alignments to September 11th. I should also mention that this 83 is probably significant. The 9/11 attacks were a span of 83 days after the total solar eclipse of 2001 that fell on the summer solstice. But next I want to look at this man's birthday to explain more about why he's in the news regarding coronavirus over any other celebrity. This man was born on May 7th of 1985. And May 7th, think about this, the date written 5/7. The word moon equals 57 in ordinal. So we'll look at the moon riddle that's tied into this as well. Balvin is exactly 12,883 days old. Being born on May 7th of 1985 makes this man a Libra. Or I'm sorry, a Taurus. Either way, the ruling planet is Venus. And on today's date, Balvin is 57 Venusian years and 75 days old. And think about how this relates to his birthday. 5/7 or 7/5. The 57th prime number is 269. And we just looked at this man's full name gematria, but what you'll realize is that the accented characters are removed. However, if you replace the accented characters with English characters, notice how his name sums to 269. Gematria that ties us directly to his date of birth. Now, whenever we're talking about the moon, we're usually talking about the Metonic cycle. We pointed out how September 11th is the 254th day of the year. The Metonic cycle is made up of 254 sidereal months. This number is the sum of the 19 years and 235 lunar phases. These are the first 2 numbers mentioned when we look at the numerology of the Metonic cycle. 19 years, 235 synodic lunar months. Using the standard alphabetic order, the name Jose Balvin sums to 109, which in numerology represents the number 19. The quote that CNN's article gave us is, "It's real and it's dangerous," which sums to 235 in that same cipher. Now, when we measure from these two Great American Total Solar Eclipses to the date of this news story, notice how the first one is exactly 1,090 days ago. Again, representing the number 19, this man saying he has COVID-19. And if we measure to the second Great American Total Solar Eclipse, we get 190 weeks. Yet another number revealing the number 19. Remember, the phrase solar eclipse even equals 190. And I just want to point out this really strange image that CNN gave us. You know, usually they give us a very clear picture of the celebrity, but here we see like a mix of two images, right? You see him singing with the microphone, and then you see another vague image with him holding the microphone up. And then this light here, which looks a lot like the sun. And might I theorize that this image itself is a nod to the eclipse code that's used with this story. And just to cap this off, the reduction numerology of the headline they gave us, notice how it sums to 192 in reduction. 192 is the Jewish gematria of the word eclipse. All right, guys, thanks to everybody who popped in. Whether you're watching live or archived, please feel free to share this work, as YouTube no longer recommends my videos to anybody. Thanks again. Peace, love, God bless, and we'll talk to you next time. See ya.